long awaited and way overdue. That's exactly how I feel when I think of running back tier lists and how I have yet to make a video on this channel about it. So without further ado, cut the BS, cut the nonsense. It is finally time for my 2025 running back tier list. Roll the intro. Alrighty, and we're back on Tier Maker. Gotta excuse me for wearing the glasses. I know there's gonna be a glare on the screen. Just understand it's easier for me to wear them and talk about the players than have to squint and drag all the players into the boxes. I'm blind as a bat. Let's start off with the running backs in S tier. So we're gonna go ahead and take Bijan Robinson. And let's go ahead and grab Jahmyr Gibbs and put him in S tier as well. These are my two running backs sitting alone in S tier going into 2025. I believe that compared to the other names that I will put in S but tier, I can make an argument or a case that I don't love their outcome to finish as the running back one, but these two are pretty much locked in as top 3 players. If they're not going to finish first, they'll probably finish second or third, and that's good enough for the S tier. Here is the S but tier. Ironically, this video was planned on having Devon Achane in S but tier before the calf injury. He's not going to leave this tier for me personally. I'm not going to knock him down a tier where I have him. Where he is now is perfectly ranked. These are in this tier amongst Devon Achane running backs that are S tier players, can finish as RB1. Before the calf injury, my but for Devon Achane would have been the simple fact that they started to pass a lot and make this offense Devon Achane centric when Tua was gone. And yes, I understand the Dolphins offense should be better with Tua. I get it. I feel like best case scenario was Devon Achane in 2024. And to think that there is an RB1 finish because Jonnu Smith left the offense and there's going to be more targets, I just don't see it. He's as good as Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, but there is some room for concern. And now if that wasn't a concern, workload and potential to actually not only play a full season, which he did last year, but produce at a very high level with high volume, which he did last year. And it wasn't good enough to be RB1 overall. So I'm thinking if that was best case scenario, I'm not sure if Devon Achane has the ceiling. But the calf injury is definitely something to be mindful of. But let's move on to the other running backs in S but tier. Saquon Barkley. Yes, I know this is crazy, but again, we're talking about a player that the injuries aren't season ending like Christian McCaffrey. He's going to play either 4 games for you or play the whole season. If he misses some time, he's going to play 12, 13 games, but everything went perfectly right for Saquon Barkley last year. It's not to say that it can't go perfectly right again, but I'm simply more so betting on the other factors of Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Really, I'm not counting week 18, so yet to finish either one of them as an RB1 overall. I believe Saquon Barkley is S tier, but I have some reason to believe that they might not run the ball as much as they did last year, but he might end up getting injured and missing some time. And lastly, Saquon Barkley was amazing last year, but I can't expect the rest of the Eagles players like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith to continue to have seasons where we feel like there's more to be desired. So I like Saquon Barkley, love Saquon Barkley, but he's an S but player. Next up, the king of S but. Saying S but is crazy, by the way. CMC is S tier, but he'll probably never play, or he'll play every game. That one's pretty easy. And lastly, Ashton Jeanty. I believe Ashton Jeanty is an RB1 caliber player. I believe he can be the S tier or one of the few best running backs in fantasy football. He does play in an offense that probably would rather throw the ball considering Geno Smith is very accurate. They have Brock Bowers. Not saying Jacoby Myers or Brock Bowers are better assets to an offense than Jeanty. They're also not going to be a team that is going to feed for a positive game script to get Ashton Jeanty the ball in garbage time. They're probably not going to be up in a lot of games. So these are things that we need to consider. Their schedule, they play the AFC West. So that's Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers are 6 of those games that you're going to have in fantasy matchups. They're probably not going to be leading in many of those games. And if they are, it won't be for very long. So that's why Ashton Jeanty finds himself in S but tier. Now let's move on. Here we are in the A tier. This is most likely where I would say that this is the end of my RB1 category. And those players in A tier are Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, and lastly, the man, the myth, the legend, Bucky Irving. So these are my top 10 running backs, I would say. No, these are not in order. These are just a tier. If I had to rank this tier in order, I would probably prefer Chase Brown because of the upside. Then I would go, I feel like these two are really just a toss-up, and then Bucky Irving. Pick your poison with these two. I'm going to lean slightly Derrick Henry, ever so slightly. Now let's move on to the B+ tier. This is guys that maybe aren't being drafted as RB1s, but you can draft them in these middle rounds and get RB1 production potentially if all things break right. And those players are going to be Breece Hall, Amari and Hampton, Jonathan Taylor, and Kyron Williams. These are guys that have done it before in the past, at least. These three guys have all been RB1s before. Should be drafted with the expectation that they can finish as an RB1 again. We're taking a rookie in an offense, just like we trust with Gene T is going to produce, that a rookie in a run-first offense, even if he's splitting the carries and opportunities, could be a high-end running back in fantasy. Let's continue. In the B tier, we have Ken Walker, Chuba Hubbard, James Cook. It might be a controversial one, but I am a believer. Alvin Kamara, out of respect. David Montgomery, another guy out of respect. And let's mix in the rookies. We got RJ Harvey, and lastly, Travion Henderson. I can't believe I almost forgot these guys. James Conner and Isaiah Pacheco. These are guys that we do still believe that there is top 12 upside in the range of outcomes for all these players. Most have shown it in the past. At least for the young guys, they need to show us that they're capable of doing that. This is a tier of all running backs that you can trust, whether they're your second running back, first running back, to get you fantasy points. Now let's talk the B- tier. I now have to give my spiel again, but let's talk Tony Pollard and DeAndre Swift. They're in this B- tier by themselves because I don't trust them as much as I trust a Ken Walker, Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, or James Conner. You get the point. However, these are both running backs that maybe they're not guaranteed to play 100% of the time. Maybe they're not guaranteed to take all of the goal line carries to score touchdowns for us. But you know what they are? They are dual threat running backs with explosive upside in receiving and rushing. So for that alone, these two players are in B- tier because of their dual threat ability, but also their fantasy football season, unfortunately, in the hands of two really young quarterbacks that are still figuring it out at the NFL level. For DeAndre Swift, you have Caleb Williams, and for Tony Pollard, you have Cam Ward. If either one of these quarterbacks has a bad season, you will not get good production out of these players. But if it's a good season and you start to see some growth out of one of these two quarterbacks, or both of them, they're going to perform like a B tier player. But I can't put them there yet because there's some sort of little half gap between that group. So that's why I made B- just for these two players alone. Now we're really gonna not trust these players. These are where the RB tier gets really ugly. We have Jordan Mason. I have Quinshon Judkins here in this tier, and I'm gonna explain why. Quinshon Judkins may not get a major or harsh penalty from the NFL for what he did, and as much as I don't agree with that, the vibe and the energy kind of around the situation is they're kind of just waiting for him to join the team any day now. So if that's the case, if they used a better draft pick on Quinshon Judkins and not Dylan Sampson, I do believe that Quinshon Judkins will make his way in that running back room, take a lot of carries away from Dylan Sampson, and you could potentially have a quality running back in Quinshon Judkins. Both of the Pittsburgh Steelers running backs, Jaylen Warren and Caleb Johnson, find themselves in this tier. And normally I find something like this a cop-out. Like, I don't know which one of these players is going to be good, so I'm going to pick both and hope it works out. But the truth is, Arthur Smith can be dastardly when it comes to starting the running back we drafted in fantasy, right? This guy will make this as even 50-50 as possible. One game, this guy's going to get 80% of the touches. The next game, player B is going to get 75% of the carries. It's just a mess. But one of these guys could be fantasy valuable. They could both be mid, just like Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris were last year. But we'll have to wait and see. For now, I have to give one of them the benefit of the doubt to break out. Who it's going to be, I would bet on Caleb Johnson, but that's just my opinion. But I don't think that if you get the starting running back, you win this fantasy battle. You can easily have a situation where Jaylen Warren is the backup, but performs better in fantasy because of his pass catching upside, which he really doesn't have. But anyway, Tyrone Tracy. My OCD is killing me right now seeing this square box. And J.K. Dobbins. These are players that are also probably in a committee. We could all say that these players are committee backs. These two are good enough in their own right to carve out a role being a complimentary guy and being startable in fantasy. Also gonna have to put in the front of this tier Joe Mixon, because we don't know how many games he's gonna miss. He could play 8 games, could play 10 games, could play 4 games. But this superstar upside has to be, we're drafting him near this middle tier of running backs. We have to give it a shot because this upside could win us a league that none of these guys have, and certainly these two don't have. Again, it all just comes down to how many games he's going to play, how much time is he going to be away from the Texans to fluctuate this value. Lastly, the final tier, C tier, Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears, Tank Bigsby, and I'm going to leave Travis Etienne in there for now. It sounds crazy, but he has PPR upside. He's finished as a high-end running back before. Still going to give him a chance. Not saying I don't like Bashal Tutin. I think the Bashal Tutin hype is a little strong, a little too much Bucky Irving comparisons. I think Tank Bigsby's probably the safest and definitely the most boring pick out of the 3 running backs, but at least Travis Etienne could catch 3 passes in a game and be fantasy useful. Will they do that for him? I'm not so sure. I had Brian Robinson Jr. in this tier, but over the last couple days, considering being shopped around the NFL, the Commanders probably want to cut him so they could play Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who probably should be in this tier list, but it's a little bit crazy and a little too early to presume he's going to be top 35 running back this year. But this is the tier list. We're leaving Najee Harris off, we're leaving Ramondre, and we're leaving Brian Robinson Jr. off this list. What do you guys think of this list? Let me know down in the comments. If you made it this far into the video, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Smash the like button for your boy. Helps my videos get out to more and more fantasy football enthusiasts like yourself. Do you hate this list? Do you love this list? Let me know down in the comments. We could have a discussion about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Turtle. This is Outlier Fantasy, and I will see you in the next video. Wow, you stuck to the end of this video? Thank you so much. If you're new here, make sure you check out one of these videos on the screen right now. And don't forget, before you leave, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any fantasy football videos on this channel. And that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.